If your blood runs orange and blue, this is the pod for you. You're listening to Orange and Blue Bloods, hosted by EJ Stewart and Tommy Beer. Let's get to it.
So the Knicks were eliminated a little more than a week ago, but we're already days away from knowing maybe who the NBA Finals matchup will be, because both the Nuggets and the Heat are 1 win away from the finals as we record this episode on Monday afternoon. He demolished the Celtics in Game 3 to take a commanding 3-0 lead in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Heat have yet to lose a home game so far in this postseason. Right now, the Knicks are the only team to win at least 2 games against the Heat in the playoffs. So when you look at, the Knicks lost in 6 games, it was kind of like, oh man, like there needs to be a whole major retooling. But then you see how much the Heat dominated the Bucks, and now you see how much the Heat have dominated the Celtics. Do you think the Knicks missed out on a real chance to win an NBA Finals, go to an NBA Final, maybe win a championship? Like, were they a lot closer than maybe we thought when it came to how close they were to winning a title?
So there's 2 ways, and I'll ask you this, EJ. The Heat are 7-1 against the Bucks and the Celtics. They're 4-2 against the Knicks this postseason. Should that fact should Knicks fans feel better because their Knicks are better than we thought, closer to finals than we thought? Or is it heartbreaking and sting more because the Knicks were closer than we thought? They would have had a real chance to advance to the finals had they been playing these Celtics right now.
Yeah, I think it's the ultimate bittersweet kind of thing to look at. I think if I had to lean one direction, because I think both facts are true. I think both statements are true, actually. If I had to lean into one feeling, I would go with heartbreak, because I think it is a small factor. I think Julius Randle not playing Game 1 really changed that series too. Like, I don't know if the Heat get a game in New York in those first 2 games if Julius Randle plays Game 1. And, and of course, he came back from an injury, so he wasn't 100% going into the rest of that series. Like, if you're talking about a series where both teams protect home and now it's just, a race to the finish in terms of who wins Game 6 and Game 7, like, that now is an entirely different series. So I think that I go more towards heartbreak, because the Knicks actually had an injury that started that series shorthanded for them. Like, in some ways, like, it's similar to the Bucks with the Giannis thing. Like, the Celtics have no excuse. Like, they're just getting throttled. But like the Knicks, you say, yo, if Randle didn't get hurt against Cleveland, like, that's maybe a different series that the Knicks have against the Heat.
If the Knicks get 40% of regular season Julius Randle instead of 25%, they probably force a Game 7. And if they force a Game 7, who knows? If the Knicks get anything from IQ when he was healthy before he gets injured, they probably force a Game 7, and anything can happen in Game 7.
Or if IQ is able to come back for Game 6, even you don't have to play Jalen Brunson 46 minutes, or he sits down for 2 minutes and he go on a 7-0 run. Like, the Knicks were really close to going to the NBA Finals. I really feel that way, because I said it on this podcast. I told you a bunch of times, I was not convinced about this Celtics team. I had not been convinced about them all season. And you're watching them just absolutely quit against the Miami Heat. Shout out to Ben Ritholtz, who of course was on the podcast with us earlier this year. And we're going to make sure we get him on during the offseason. Like, he mentioned it, and he's right. Like, it's crazy to see how much easier things are for Miami against Boston than they were for New York. They're getting easy looks. Like, remember that crazy ball movement the Heat were doing to get these shots? The Knicks are scrambling all over the place, and we're, complaining why you're scrambling so much. Well, the Heat, they don't have to move the ball that much. The Celtics aren't scrambling at all. They're just standing around. They're not even running at these shooters. Guys are just absolutely wide open, not making multiple efforts, not making first efforts, let alone multiple efforts. I mean, this has been a completely pathetic performance. And you're saying, man, if Knicks had got this team and played with that same physicality they played against Cleveland with, some of the physicality they showed in Game 2 and Game 6 in New York, and Jalen Brunson, the competitiveness he has, like, that was a big thing to me too. I feel like a big difference between the Knicks and Celtics is one team has Jalen Brunson and the other team doesn't. Like, Jalen Brunson definitely inspires his team in a way that Tatum and Brown just don't.
Tweeted this morning, and I didn't think it was possible for Jalen Brunson's second round performance against Miami to be even more impressive in retrospect. Looking at what this Heat team has done to the psyche and soul of the Celtics, and in particular stars, and going back to the first round, they locked up Giannis.
Yep.
Jalen Brown's averaging 16 points per game in this Eastern Conference Finals. Tatum's averaging 26, which is 4 points fewer than he did in the regular season on a lower field goal percentage. Contrast that with Jalen Brunson, 6-game series against Miami, averaged 31 points on over 50% shooting, 6.3 assists, 5.5 rebounds. That is superstar. We knew it was great at the time.
Yeah.
Looking back, when we take a deep breath in August or something and look back on it, we're gonna be like, "Holy shit, he really did that
Yeah.
against a really good Heat team."
Yeah, maybe he did it against the NBA champions. Like that's actually on the table at this point. And you remember like when we had this time from Eric Spoelstra during the live show when he talked about Jalen Brunson. I guarantee you he will not speak about Jalen Brown or Jason Tatum the way he spoke about Jalen Brunson after beating the Knicks. He talked about he's the ultimate competitor, a guy I wish we had on our team. Like, how did we miss out on this guy? Like, I don't know how this guy was an all NBA. He's one of the best players in the world. Like, and we see the level of competition the Heat bring to the table. And you saw the respect they had for Jalen Brunson. Also, by the way, Spoelstra didn't say that about any other Knick. He wasn't saying about Randall. He didn't say that about RJ Barrett. He said that about Jalen Brunson. And I guarantee you, after they sweep the Boston Celtics in a day or two, he's not gonna be saying, "Oh, Jason Tatum is his ultimate competitor. I wish we had him." He's not gonna be saying any of that. He's gonna respect the normal kind of run of the mill comments in the post game. Respect to the Celtics, good team, good season. They're gonna keep it moving. Like Jalen Brunson left an impact on them, and in many ways, maybe he kind of ratcheted up their intensity. Say, "Hey, it's only gonna get tougher," and then they realize, "Oh, actually, it's not that tough at all. This is actually pretty easy." It's crazy to see the Knicks.
Do the Heat wrap it up in 4 or do the Lakers win a game and extend it to 5?
I think these are two sweeps. I think the Lakers feel a lot different than the Celtics do.
Yeah,
I think the Lakers should be very pleased with this run. LeBron, if he's healthy, I think this is an entirely different series. He's clearly injured, and now he's old. So now the question becomes, can you ever get him healthy at this point, this late in the season? He has a lot of miles on that tread. So that's a question mark. But Lakers, this is a good run. You're playing against a team that's just clearly way better. You can live with getting swept by this team. The Celtics, I think they are going to get swept, and I think it's going to be another gut check moment kind of for another organization who's going to have to make a lot of big decisions. We've seen it from Phoenix already firing their coach. We've seen it from Philly firing their coach. Now Boston's going to have a decision about Joe Mazzulla, who they just gave an extension to and named him the permanent coach. They got to have a decision with their roster as well. So this NBA offseason is getting more and more crazy with every postseason upset.
You talk about decisions. Jalen Brown, rather, eligible for a 5-year, $295 million contract. That decision by the Celtics, do they sign him? Does he accept less? Do they trade him? Will shape the future of the Eastern Conference to a certain degree. And that's something we'll talk about for the next weeks and months as well.
And if you're the Knicks, you're sitting pretty. You don't have anybody making any super max money. You got a ton of draft picks. You got a team that was, 2 wins away from beating the Eastern Conference champions. Like, things are getting very interesting here in New York. And like I've said, these are the good old days, as far as I'm concerned. I think we need to realize that this is a different era of Knicks basketball. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. If you want to see more of our videos, be sure to check out our playlist and let us know what you think in the comments below.
Also, don't forget to follow us on social media to stay up to date on our latest podcast ventures. Links will be in the descriptions. And as always, thanks for watching, and we will see you in our next video.